So last time around we left a part of the question number 11, that is the last part 11.3. So we were doing exercise 7.3 and 11.3 I left off. So let us complete that question. So in this question what it says is that in how many ways can the letters of the word permutation be arranged if there are always 4 letters between P and S? So we have permutation. So we need to arrange in such a way that there are always 4 letters between P and S. So first thing, permutation, basically how many letters are there? There are 12 letters. So think of a box which has 12 compartments. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So think of this box of having 12 compartments. Now you see, when can have P and S 4 letters between them? Suppose I say that my P lies in first position. It lies in the first compartment. So my S have to lie 1, 2, 3, 4 in the fifth compartment. Sorry, in the sixth compartment. In the sixth compartment, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then only we have 4 letters between them. So 1, 6. Then if my P lies in second compartment, then my S has to lie in 7 compartment. So 2, 7. Likewise, it goes on 3, 8. Then we have 4, 9. Then we have 5, it will be 10. Then we have 6, 11. Then we have 7, 12. So these are the combination in which we can put P and S, where we will have 4 letters between P and S. So how many we are getting? We are getting 7 positions in which we will put P and S to get 4 letters between them. Now one thing, P and S itself can be arranged in 2 ways. How we can say that? You see, here we have 4 letters between P and S, and this one also means that there are 4 letters between P and S. So we can arrange P and S in 2 ways. We can arrange P and S in 2 ways. Either we put P in the first place, then we can put or else we can put S in the first place. So there are 2 ways we can arrange P and S. So how many ways? So the number of ways P and S are arranged, the number of ways P and S are arranged to have 4 letters between them, that will be equal to what? That will be equal to 7 into 2 by multiplication principle. I will write this one as 7 into 2. So that is equal to 14. So there are 14 ways we can put P and S in certain positions which we have 4 letters between them. Right? Now this one we have done that the P and S are positioned. Now we have to put the remaining 10 letters. So how many ways we can put the remaining 10 letters? So write down the number of ways, the remaining 10 letters, can be arranged. Now look at here, after putting, now we have put P and S in there. Then after putting P and S, how many positions we are left with? There are 2 compartments. So if I put P and S, so there are 10 compartments left. Now if I use P and S, so how many letters we have? We have 10 letters. So we have 10 letters and we have 10 compartments. So how many ways we can put 10 letters in 10 compartments? That is basically 10p10, or else we can write 10 factorial. But there is a problem. The problem is there are 2 T's in here. So what I will do here, the number of ways the remaining 10 letters can be arranged is equal to, that will be 10 factorial divided by 2 factorial. Why? Because there are 2 T's are there, 2 similar elements. That's why we have to do 10 factorial divided by 2 factorial. So this is the number of ways we got. the remaining 10 letters are arranged. Now we are asked how many ways we can arrange the letters of permutation such that P and S have 4 letters between them. So the number of ways will be, by multiplication principle, 14 into this. So I will write, hence by multiplication principle, the required number of ways is equal to 14 into 10 factorial by 2 factorial. So you have to multiply and you will get the answer. So 7 into 10 factorial. I hope you have to multiply with your calculator. So 10 into 9 into 8 into 7. You have to go on like that, and then you have to multiply all the numbers, and then you have to write the answer of this problem. Okay, so this is how we finish exercise 7.3. Now we move on to the last portion, the last section of this chapter, that is combination. So that is combination. Now what is that? Now combination basically means what? I told you permutation, let's just go back to permutation and combination. So permutation was what? In the portion where I covered permutation, I told you that permutation is selection plus arrangement. This is what permutation is. First we select, then we arrange. Combination is nothing but selecting. It is just selecting. We don't have to arrange at all. Permutation is selection plus arrangement, and combination is selecting. So suppose, let me show you an example. Suppose we have 3 objects. We have 3 objects A, B, C, and from these 3 objects we have to find the permutation of these 3 objects taken 2 at a time. So we are taking 2 at a time. So basically I am telling you to find 3p2. I am telling you to find 3p2, permutation of 3 objects taken 2 at a time. So first you will do what? You will select 2 objects. So I am selecting 2 objects. So I have selected A and B. So I get AB. Now I will arrange AB. So first I have arranged A and B into AB, and then I have arranged A and B into BA. So same way I will take 2 objects, so BC, CB, then AC, CA. So this is the permutation of the 3 objects ABC taken 2 at a time. And you know the value of 3p2. We already know how to find 3p2. 3p2 is equal to what? 3 factorial divided by 3 minus 2 factorial. That is equal to 3 factorial divided by 1 factorial. So it is 3 into 2, that is 6. So the answer is 3p2 is 6. And you see here it is 6. Here it is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? Now what is combination? Combination is selecting that I told you. So I need to find the combination of these 3 objects taken 2 at a time. So combination is denoted by 3C2. So I am doing combination of 3 objects taken 2 at a time. So it will be what? Combination, I told you, it is just selecting. So I selected AB. So I put AB. I have selected 2 elements, that is AB. Now I will select BC. So it is BC. Then I will select AC. I get AC. So that's what combination. Now AB, here for permutation we had what? AB and BA. Now for combination, the arrangement, the order is not important. AB is equal to BA only. So combination is all about selecting. So it means what? I have selected AB. That's it. I don't have to put again BA. AB is similar as BA only, because here we are just selecting 2 objects. So again we have selected BC. Then we have selected AC. So there is no need of arrangement. So here you see 3C2 you are getting as 3. But 3P2 you got as 6. So basically what do you mean by that? The reason is the answer is quite different. Now look at here. Suppose I have 2 objects A, B. How many ways we can arrange these 2 objects? Forget this at the moment. How many ways we can arrange this object? We can arrange this object in 2 ways. That is AB and BA. So there are 2 ways we can arrange 2 objects, right? Now suppose we have 3 objects like this, A, B, C. Now how many ways we can arrange this object? We can arrange this one. One is ABC, the other one is ACB, then we have BCA, then we have BAC, then we have CAB, then we have CBA. So there are 6 ways we can arrange this one. if we have two elements, we can arrange those two elements in two ways, but we can arrange this three element as six ways. Now why we are getting like this? The reason is that if I have to arrange two elements, it will be arranged in 2 factorial ways. Three elements can be arranged in 3 factorial ways. Likewise, 4 elements will be arranged in 4 factorial ways. Like so, the more the number, the same thing you can, the same way you can arrange. Suppose you have 10 objects, you can arrange them as 10 factorial ways. So I hope it's very, very clear. So basically, arrangement of 15 objects will be 15 factorial, right? So from here, you see here, so 3C2, what is what? Here we are combining, this is 3C2 means what? Combination of 3 objects taken 2 at a time, right? Now 3C2 is equal to 3P2. Now 3P2 means what? We have permutation means what? It is selection plus arrangement, right? Now I am just telling you this thing. 3C2 is equal to, now permutation is what? Selecting into arrangement divided by. Now I need to do, what should I divide it with? I need to divide it with arrangement such that arrangement goes away and we have the answer as selecting. So 3C2 is equal to 3P2 divided by what? How many elements we are selecting? We are selecting 2 elements. So how many ways we can arrange 2 elements? That will be 2 factorial ways. So 3C2 is equal to 3P2 divided by 2 factorial. And look at here. So 3P2 is what? 6 and 2 factorial is 2. So you're getting the answer as 3. So that's how we got 3. That's how we got the combination of 3 objects taken 2 at a time as 3. I hope it's clear. Now you see, if you are not clear, please roll back it again and I hope it will be clear. Once you see the second time, it will be very, very clear. Now, we know the formula of permutation, NPR. NPR is what? NPR is n factorial divided by n minus r factorial. Now I ask you to find NCR. What will be NCR equal to? NCR, from here I will try to find. NCR is what? Combination. It is combination of n objects taken r at a time, right? So basically I am selecting r objects from n, right? So basically it is NPR. NPR means what? It is selecting plus arranging. So how many elements we are selecting? We are selecting r elements, right? So I need to remove the selecting arranging part. So how many ways we can arrange r elements? It is r factorial. So NCR is nothing but NPR divided by r factorial, and that is equal to, just put the formula of NPR, that is n factorial divided by n minus r factorial, r factorial. So this is the formula of NCR. That's the formula of NCR, that is equal to n factorial divided by n minus r factorial into r factorial. So the formula of NPR was this thing which we have learned in our previous session, that is NPR is equal to n factorial divided by n minus r factorial. So this is my NCR. So all you have to do is, for combination is, from permutation you divide the arrangement part. From permutation you divide the arrangement part. Suppose I have 4C2. How will I find 4C2? 4C2 is what? Combination of 4 objects taken 2 at a time. So it will be what? 4P2 divided by how many elements we are selecting? 2. So it will be divided by 2 factorial. Am I clear? So this is what combination is all about. Now there are 2 basic properties which you must remember. First thing, it goes like this. Now if you have in here NC, this one is very, very important formulas. NCN minus R. NCN minus R is equal to NCR. The derivation is not in there, but still I will try to do this one. So NCN minus R is equal to NCR. Always remember this one. So how do I get this one? Now look at here. NCR is what? NCR, we know the formula of NCR, that is n factorial divided by, just subtract these two, n minus r factorial. Then I have to remove the arrangement of r elements, that is r factorial. That's the formula of NCR. So here I will have what? Now NCN minus R. What is the formula of NCN minus R? That is n factorial divided by, subtract these two, n minus r entire factorial, then the denominator n minus r factorial. That is what you have, not the denominator, the bottom portion, n minus r factorial. So this is equal to what? N factorial. Now here we have n minus n plus r factorial, n minus r factorial. So n goes out. So what we have is n factorial divided by r factorial, n minus r factorial. And once you get this thing, you see it is similar to this one. N factorial divided by n minus r factorial. So that is nothing but equal to NCR. So this formula, please do remember, that is NCn minus r is equal to NCR. Now the next formula, you don't have to remember the derivation, just listen to it. The next formula is given by NCR plus NCR minus 1 is equal to N plus CR. This is the next formula which you must remember, that NCR plus NCR minus 1 is equal to N plus 1 CR. So these are the two formulas. So please try to remember these two, because we will be needing these to solve different problems. Okay, so let's start with this one. Yeah. So what we have, question exercise 7.4. Exercise 7.4 will do question number 1. So here question number 1 says what? If NCR, if NC8 is equal to NC2, then find NC2. So we have to find NC2. So basically what do we need to do is we need to find N, because if we find N, then we can easily find NC2. Now how can we find N? Now look at here, just before this we have studied that NC n minus r is equal to NCR. We have studied this one, NC n minus r is equal to NCR. So if you compare this to NC n minus r is equal to NCR, if I compare these two, what we look at here is that, so if I see that my r is 2, if my r is 2, right? So can I write n minus r is equal to 8? So comparing, write it down. We know, let's write here, we know NC n minus r is equal to NCR. Now r is equal to 2. So if I compare these two equations, r is equal to 2, right? If r is equal to 2, then n minus r is equal to what? N minus r is equal to 8, right? So what do you have? Therefore n is equal to 8 plus r, that is nothing but 10. So I got my n as 10. So we need to find what? NC2 is equal to 10C2 is equal to 10 factorial divided by 2 factorial. You write 2 factorial, then 10 minus 2 factorial. Subtract these two. So what you get? 10 factorial divided by 2 factorial, then 8 factorial, that is 10 into 9, and here you have 5, so it is 45. So that's my answer. So that's how we find it. Okay, now let's do the next question, question number 2. Let's do question number 2. Let's do question number 2. So 2.1 will be homework. So 2.2 is 2nC3 divided by is 2, or you can say divided by nC3 is equal to 11 is to 1. So they have given you this thing. So you need to find the value of n, determine n. So how do I going to do? So this one, I'm going to write this one as 2nC3 divided by nC3 is equal to 11. 11 by 1 is same as 11, right? Okay, so this is what we have. Now 2nC3, how we are going to write this thing? So this one we can write it as 2n factorial divided by 3 factorial, then 2n minus 3 factorial. We can write this thing. Yes, we can write this one. Now that divided by what? Now write this one, n factorial divided by 3 factorial, n minus 3 factorial. We can write this one too. Then after doing this, what we are going to do is we are going to write here equal to 11. Okay, then after doing then what we are going to do is we'll cut this 3 factorial and 3 factorial, right? Now 2n minus 3 and this 2n. So what we get, 2n factorial, we can write 2n factorial as what? We can write this one as 2n into 2n minus 1 into 2n minus 2 into 2n minus 3 factorial. We can write this one. So same way, n factorial, we can write it as what? N into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into n minus 3 factorial. We can write this thing, right? So we will be writing these things. So let us do. So what we have in here as, so we have 2n minus 1, 2n minus 2. Why am I writing this like this? Because so that we can cancel 2n minus 3 factorial. Okay. Now that divided by, we will write n into n minus 1 into n minus 2 into n minus 3 factorial divided by n minus 3 factorial. So n minus 3 factorial goes away. 2n minus 3 factorial, 2n minus 3 factorial goes away. So what we have in here, let me write in the next page. Let me just copy this one so that it will be far easier for us. Copy, yeah. So what we have in here now, at the next step, what we are going to do is we are going to write 2n minus 1, 2n minus 2, that divided by n into n minus 1, n minus 2. Acha, here it is 11. I'm sorry, this one was 11. That was not 1, it was 11. So we have that one is equal to 11. Now n and this n we can cancel, right? Now we just cross multiply and we just multiply the brackets. So what we get in here is 2n into 2n, we get 4n square, right? Then 2n into minus 2, that is minus 4n, then minus 2n, then plus 2, and here we have 11 n square minus n minus 2n, that is minus 3n, then we have plus 2. So let's multiply 8n square minus 8, acha, here we can write minus 4n minus 2n, that is minus 6n, into 2, that is minus 12n, and we have plus 4 is equal to 11n square. We should have written or in here, or not equal to, sorry. So 11n square minus 33n plus 22. So let us, we see that where we are getting at, we are getting into quadratic equation, right? So let us take these ones this side, because the coefficient of n square is more that side. So 11n square minus 8n square, we have 3n square, then minus 33n, this one goes that side, it becomes plus 12. So 33 minus 12, that gives us 21. So we have minus 21n, and 22 minus 4, that means your plus 18 is equal to 0. So this is what we are having. Now we can divide by 3. So n square minus 7n plus 6 equal to 0. Now we can solve this quadratic equation. So if I solve this one, we get n square minus 6n minus n plus 6 equal to 0. So n minus 6 minus 1, n minus 6 equal to 0. So n minus 6 and n minus 1 is equal to 0. So what we are getting at, that n is equal to 6 or n is equal to 1. This is what we are getting, right? Now which value should I take? Should I take 6 or 1? Now that will be a confusion. The fact is that n signifies what? N signifies total number of objects, right? So if n signifies total number of objects, so nc3, in this question 2nc3 and nc3, we have nc3. If I put n as 1, we have c3. Now this actually means what? The total number of objects is 1 and we are taking 3 objects from there. How is it possible? It is not possible at all, right? So n is equal to 1 is not possible. So n has to be 6. So always remember this condition, that since n is greater than equal to r, n must be always greater than equal to r. Until and unless you have 10 objects, how can you take 12 objects? Sorry, what am I saying? Until and unless you have 12 objects, how can you take more than 12 objects? You can only take 12 objects only, right? So you cannot take anything more than 12 objects. So n, the total number of objects, will always be greater than equal to the number of objects you are taking, that is r, at a time, right? So since n is greater than equal to r, therefore n is equal to 6. That's my answer. Okay, so that's how we solve question number 2-2.